My name is Della Licious, and I have always, since I can remember, worked for causes within the community and for HIV and AIDS charities. One thing that I can remember from back when I was 10, and I won't say what year it was, it was during the AIDS crisis, the epidemic, and people weren't really sure what was going on. And it was Cracker Barrel. They decided they were going to fire all their gay staff because they didn't want them touching the plates, because obviously everybody that was gay was HIV positive and was dying of AIDS. That was their point of view. And so I boycotted them. I was living in Tennessee at the time, so it wasn't very popular with my family because they really wanted to go get some grits and mashed potatoes. However, I said we were not going to go there, or at least I wasn't, and I stood very firm to that for many, many, many years until they changed their point of view on that. I volunteered when I was 15 at the AIDS Task Force, before it was renamed Positive Resource Connection and revamped. And we had to do community service, and I figured this is something that affects my generation more so than any generation before me. So I wanted to get involved immediately with the Positive Resource Connection, then AIDS Task Force. And my job there was to answer phones and type. It was very just clerical, whatever, front desk work. But it was something that they needed, and it was something I was more than happy to provide. And to talk about stigma, which I think is something that is greatly affecting everyone, be they HIV positive, negative, or equal. My father called and said, it doesn't matter how badly you feel for anybody there, don't touch anyone, don't touch anything. Because he thought that you could get HIV from answering a phone or giving someone a hug. And he has since been educated on what actually means transmission and what doesn't. And to try to completely block off from even giving somebody a friendly hug, somebody that could desperately need it, I think is absolutely reprehensible. I like to raise money for places like Positive Resource Connection and for places like the Damien Center, places that help out not only with HIV and AIDS education and prevention, but to help those in our community that are right now living with HIV and AIDS. I think it's very important that we take care of our own community, be it within the Fort Wayne community or the LGBTQ plus community. We just need to take care of our own community, and that's something that I've always felt, and that's something that I do. This year we're having our 30th annual AIDS benefit at After Dark, where we're hoping to raise $30,000, and that $30,000 will get us to the $1 million mark for money raised in the last 30 years for HIV and AIDS charities. So this is something that's very important, and this year I'm heading the whole thing up. So if it's a complete disaster, then my name is Simone Falls, but otherwise, if it goes well, it's Delicious. I think it's important to keep in the limelight and keep raising money for, because I have many friends who are living with HIV and AIDS. I have many friends who have passed away from complications from HIV and AIDS. And the fight is not done. When it's all done, then great. We can stop raising money, we can move on to something else. But there is a light at the end of the tunnel right now. And it's something that politically has been cut off. It's something that people who feel it's a religious thing not to give money to. I think that's all stupid. We're all affected by HIV and AIDS, either directly or indirectly. And that's why I think this is something that should have the spotlight. It should have a lot of attention, and there should be money raised for, just so we can, at some point, no longer have to do it. I mean, I hate to see everybody at the Positive Resource Connection be out of business and go looking for another job, but would that be a horrible thing, to completely eradicate the spread of HIV and AIDS? I don't think so. There's an undertaking where they say that HIV could be eradicated from, the spread of HIV, could be eradicated in our lifetime. And that's through things like PrEP, and from making sure that you do have safe sex, from knowing what precautions to take, and to also know that undetectable means untransmittable. U equals U. I support AIDS Walk because it puts a lot of money back into the community. I like that the money that is raised for the Positive Resource Connection stays in Northeast Indiana. It takes care of the 400 and some clients that the Positive Resource Connection has, yes, but it also puts a lot of education out. They have free testing, they have pamphlets, they have education sessions where you can sit down and learn exactly how to protect yourself and how to protect others. And I think that's great. My name is Della Licious, and I support the Positive Resource Connection.